You are listening to The Vibe, a 21 News podcast talking about Valley entertainment, pop culture, and everything in between.
Hello, everybody. It is March 27th, a Thursday morning, and you are listening to the first ever episode of The Vibe. This is a new podcast here at WFMJ. We are expanding our podcast platform. So on The Vibe, we are going to talk about some lifestyle happenings here and around the Valley and some community events that people might be interested. So I am your one host, Jimmy Wendolek, and the other voice that you heard is my co-host, meteorologist Jodi White.
Jodi White, yes, hello. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's been quite the process for us to get here to this day.
Yeah.
You're not a podcast person.
I am not a podcast person, but I was doing my research. I did listen to a couple podcasts, and I'm excited that everyone is also going to see the video of this as well. I'm excited for all spring things, and I think that's what we're going to bring to the vibe today.
Yes, we are going to be talking about spring. We officially kicked off the spring season last week, or technically we've been in meteorological spring all month long, but today focusing on some of those spring things, some gardening tips, some flowers as well, and we have two great guests to help us talk about. So Jodi, who do we have?
Yeah, so we have Laura from Joe's Greenhouse in Mercer County, and we also have Kim from White House Fruit Farm. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the White House Fruit Farm, Kim.
Sure. So we're a family farm. We're fourth generation now on the farm. We started off actually with turkeys with my grandfather many, many years ago, and then he had 9 kids, and in order to feed them, they started orchard stock, and we went right into fruits and vegetables.
All right.
So fruits, vegetables, herbs, and flowers.
And I'm sure a lot of our viewers have visited White House Fruit Farm over the coming years, especially for the seasonal events that you have.
Yeah.
Super popular in the fall. We're open year-round. We have our own bakery and kitchen and deli as well, but a lot of people visit in the fall.
Yeah, I know that I've been there for the fall weekends and for the donuts, of course.
for the donuts.
Of course, tasted the White House donuts, world famous.
And when Laura came in, she said, "Oh, White House Fruit Farm, that's the donut place, right?"
I didn't know. That's the donut place.
That's right. All right, well, Laura, tell us a little bit about what you are doing at Joe's Greenhouse.
Well, this is a third generational farm that was started by Big Joe, which is Grandpa. We call him Grandpa Joe. It started off by just these hobbyist little hotbeds that he's just doing for fun, and then people just started coming. And he was like, "Oh, wait, I have to feed you too?" So, as things grown, he just progressed, and then he taught his eldest son, which is my father-in-law. Okay. And then now it's kind of, it's passing down to our generation now, but it's mostly just, it's more community-based. We have our own little farmers market, during the summer and fall.
Nice.
So it's like flowers, vegetables, hanging baskets, flats and things like that. And plus a big smile when you come through. So.
And that's really the goal, of course, whenever you go to anywhere, get all those flowers for the springtime.
Yes.
And we want to learn a little bit more about what you guys love about spring. So we have our icebreaker question of the day, so we can all get to know each other a little bit.
Love
so
that.
What are you looking forward to most in springtime? What are some of your favorite spring activities?
Going outside
Yes.
without wearing 10 layers of clothing and without freezing to death, and just going camping. We're very much outdoorsy people, playing with the puppies. We're a very puppy friendly family, and just hanging out in the greenhouse and just enjoying that sun. I'm a Southern girl, so I need the sun to thrive. But just getting outside, yes.
I am a tropical plant, heat, humidity, and sunshine.
You would love Florida.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, Kim, tell us a little bit about your favorite spring activity.
Oh, my favorite spring activity is being out of doors. So we have apple blossoms and peach blossoms that bloom in the spring, and the blueberries, and so it not only looks pretty, it smells great to be out in the orchards and fields and getting all of the soil ready and getting everything planted. It's just a busy time.
Believe it or not, I just had my first blueberry last year, so now I love blueberries. So I'm on a blueberry kick now. So as soon as you said blueberries, my brain just kind of peaked. Last year I had my first ever I was a picky child, okay?
My kids are also picky, I understand.
I'm totally learning. Yes, I'm learning.
Yeah.
So blueberries
in July, you have to come out and pick your own blueberries. Unless you've had berries fresh off of the bush, that's a whole different flavor. So you're gonna if you love blueberries, when you come out and get fresh blueberries right off the plant, you'll.
Okay, so I'll mark my
Really
calendar
good
for
for you.
July.
Yes, yes.
Jodi, what are you thinking for springtime?
All right, springtime. Well, I'm planning a wedding right now, so I'm very excited to do that outdoors. I'll bring my book, make my phone calls outside, kids' soccer games on the sidelines. I don't want to be bundled up in a coat anymore or a blanket and all the things. So I'm excited to get outside, golf, do all of the things outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like you guys, I am excited to not have to bundle up anymore. I'm a big pickleball person, so being able to play outdoors again, looking forward to. And then I really do like just like the smell of flowers outside again. So I'm excited to see some of the flowers and some of the sunshine and everything. Yes.
Just the color. It's just so black and white outside right now. I would love to see just the blooms. And I'm starting to see a little spring up. And speaking of that, Kim, you have an experience coming up, or it started at the White House Fruit Farm. So talk to us about that.
So our first ever tulip experience this year. We've had areas where you can come in and cut your own flowers, but this is going to be different than that. It's an experience where you just come out and be amongst the flowers. We have 225,000 tulip bulbs in the ground. 1,000, yes.
So
225,000.
Like Instagrammable.
That's exactly
run
it.
through the tulips.
Maybe not run.
Okay.
Carefully
walk.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure everyone is wondering, who did all that?
Oh my gosh. So we planted them last fall. So it's been an effort. We planted them last fall. We have 32 color collections and they should continue to bloom once they start. We're hoping to have them for 3 weeks. So we have all of the props ready to go and you can come on out and just enjoy, as we're saying, the color, the smell, being outdoors, being warm.
We did a little research before the podcast and we went to the Facebook page and your website and you guys are doing a little video. Is it daily video or?
It's about every 2-3 days.
Okay.
It's called Tulip Talks, and it's myself just showing you the progression of the field so that when we're ready to have tickets go on sale, you'll know. You'll be in the know, you'll be ready. So we have like 4.5-inch stem length right now on some. We have early, mid, and late bloom, so some of them are just starting to crack through the soil, but they're getting there.
Now, will we need tickets for the experience whenever they bloom?
You will need tickets, and those will be sold in time slots starting at 9 o'clock and ending at 4:30, and that'll all be online. So follow our social media, and then you can get tickets, come on in, take all of your photos, just enjoy being outdoors in the beautiful blooms. Yes.
And I like having the almost 3 different stages you were talking about of the growth. So that helps to just prolong the experience for as long as possible.
That'll allow more people to get into the field and enjoy. You know, maybe you have family coming in for Easter and that's a good time. Maybe not. You know, maybe you work during that time period and the week after is better. Or maybe you want to come a couple times, and there will be mini photo sessions in the evening. So, you know, just watch our social media. You want to come out and get some photos. We'll have photographers there that you can work with.
So when is peak bloom for tulips?
Gosh, it's our first year, so we don't really know. We've been told 45 days from when they just start to crown that green through. And we're hoping right before Easter. You know, I say that, but the weather, you know, the cooler it is, the taller and sturdier the blooms are. So, you know, the cooler weather, we're not liking it, but it's good for the tulips. And so again, that comes into play. So we really don't know. We hope to release tickets maybe 3 days before we're opening, but we can't really say when that is.
And you said this is the first time that you guys are doing it. So why did you want to do this? How did this idea kind of happen?
Oh, so we have some friends in the Netherlands. And of course, if you've been up to Holland, Michigan, they have a big tulip experience there. And we wanted to bring something fun and beautiful for our guests in the spring. Again, we talked about being on the farm in the fall. Everybody thinks of farm in the fall.
We love farm in the fall.
But there's so much happening in the spring as well. And so we decided to try to offer something great and different for the spring.
Yeah, I know that I'm from New Jersey originally, so I just moved out here a couple years ago. But back near my hometown, there's a farm that their thing is tulips. Every spring. I think it's called like the Holland Ridge Farm in New Jersey or something. So they have the thousands of tulips, and it is the spot to go to. So I'm sure that if people here take to it like the people there did, then it will be packed for however long the tulips are blooming for.
We hope so. I think it would be, I mean, I love tulips, and just to be in that many tulips and be able to get all those photos. And
beautiful.
Our fields typically have the beautiful bumblebees and the dragonflies, and I love all of that, and just to be out in nature.
Is there anything else happening on the farm that we could be looking forward to in the springtime as well?
Absolutely. The first Saturday in May, we have a 5K that runs through the farm. It's a veteran support, and so you'll run past the tulips, you'll run past the blueberries and the peaches and the apples, and you're out in the fields and crossing streams. It's a true cross-country course, so it's not a road out and back.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun event for us, and we have a kids fun run for that, and every kid that runs in the fun run gets a donut.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Next one is a great time.
Yeah.
Just walk down.
You can also walk it. So if you're
Okay.
not a runner, you can walk it and enjoy the beauty that way as well. You'll go past the asparagus, which in the spring doesn't look like much, but that's one of our first vegetable crops. So there's a lot to see on the farm in this spring.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So I'm going to have to start training for the 5K so I can get my
Yes.
donut at the end, or maybe just,
the photo.
yeah, and the photos, get the photos and the tulips, run the 5K, get the donut.
Yeah.
So a lot of great things coming up on the farm.
There
So
are.
excited for that, Kim. So thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so now
Yeah, we're going to take a little game break.
halftime show, if you will.
No. I have a feeling this bell has something to do with it.
I promise it's going to be easy, okay? So we figured that we're talking spring today. We would break up kind of the conversation with a little trivia game here.
Put the bell in between because we're going to do a little halftime spring show.
All right.
So I have 3 spring trivia questions. Wrote them up yesterday.
Okay.
I promise that they're not super difficult, but they're not gimmies either.
And don't hurt yourselves ringing the bell, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
Now
gonna
keep score.
yeah, we're gonna see who can get the first of 2 questions here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll read question number 1 here. Okay.
Are we supposed to ring the bell to
Yeah, you can ring the bell, raise your hands, whatever you guys find is easier. Okay, so we have 2 U.S. states that do not follow daylight saving time. Name one of them.
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
Laura
dun,
thinks she might have something.
Because
Use the bell, Laura.
The hint is they're both towards the west.
Him.
Is New Mexico one of them?
Ooh, very close, but no. Laura, you have a guess?
I would say Texas.
No. So the answers are actually Arizona and Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Okay. So no points that time.
Hawaii has their own rules.
Yes,
Okay.
they did.
That's
As they
where I'm
should.
going. As they should.
Yeah.
All right. Second question, ladies. The term vernal in Latin means what in English? Because we just celebrated the vernal equinox last week. So what does vernal mean?
Is it nighttime? Is it nighttime?
It is not nighttime.
Spring.
It is spring. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Laura's on the board. Laura's on the board for our first question.
All right, Jimmy.
And then we just talked a lot about flowers, so we have a flower-related question.
All right,
Not
let's
about
go.
tulips.
Okay.
Thought that that'd be too easy for Kim. So the opening of what flower signals the start of spring for the Japanese? Oh.
Is it cherry blossom?
We'll give you both a point there.
Hey, all right.
Yo.
There you go. So
Yes.
both picking up points on the scoreboard. So we have a score Laura 2, Kim to 1, but both winners
Yes,
here in
yes.
our springtime
all
trivia.
winners.
For sure.
Scores.
Thank
Okay.
you for playing.
Yeah, thanks for playing along.
Okay.
That was awesome.
All right, so now we're going to move over towards Laura's questioning. And we're going to questioning, and it sound like we're like interrogating her. Like,
You can
like a
interrogate me.
court.
Let's do it.
Talk about some gardening tips. So we have the professionals over at White House getting all their tulips and everything ready, but we're amateurs over here, and we don't have the greenest of thumbs.
What if I wanted to start a garden and I had a tiny little porch in my apartment? How would I do that, Laura?
Well, one of the best things about what we do is we really promote container gardening as well. Container gardening is great, especially when you don't have a yard. You live in an apartment, or you just have very limited space, or maybe you're not getting enough sun. You can move that container around, and you can control what goes into that soil. You're not always, just kind of at the mercy of the elements. But container gardening is a great way for, getting tomatoes, cucumbers. Imagine getting out of your condo and your cucumbers are right there to pick, and
I
your
know.
tomatoes are right there to pick.
I know.
You know, so especially we're coming into, you know, millennials, Gen Z, and all of that. These, you know, my people, they, you know, we're not searching for a lot of those big properties, or we're working corporate. You know, so we have to think of ways to kind of
Like
incorporate.
a vertical garden.
Yes, the
perhaps.
vertical garden. There's a lot of different things out there that you can, you know, kind of introduce into your gardening, you know, experience that will help you with the, you know, your space, the vertical gardening. You can actually put tomatoes in hanging baskets, cucumbers in hanging baskets. And with the hanging baskets, like I said, if you're in a patio, you can move your baskets around for the sun, and you have full control over, again, you know, pests and your soil and your fertilizer.
So Laura, talk to us about quality, because there are the big box garden centers, but then there's also the local gardens and greenhouses. So what's the difference there?
Well, I can tell you now, just like her, this is a multi-generation farm that was started off. That was just, you know, a small little hotbeds. There's a lot of pride there. There's a lot of love for the community there. There's a lot of understanding of the soil,
right?
The flowers. Every single, you know, flower plug or seed was personally touched by us. So there's a lot of love. There's a lot of pride there, and that's a lot of generations of just building.
Yeah.
And then when you are going to these local greenhouses, it's so much more personal.
Yeah.
And you're not paying into this big, you know, this big corporation. You are paying for, you know, his child's school, their shoes, their sports, and you know, that's just a lot for a small community. And you know, we also do, like, if teachers want to bring, or schools want to bring their classes in, you know, I do classes with how to plant tomatoes, and they get to take their little tomato home, and that is so important to me as we cultivate the next generation of kids. Like, I want them to know where this comes from. I want them to know the history of where they're from, and to kind of know that your cabbage doesn't come from, you know, the store. It comes from people like you and I.
So how do the teachers sign up for this experience with you guys?
They just call the greenhouse.
Okay.
And
What's the number?
724
Okay.
962 5511, or just go to Joe's Greenhouse Facebook. That's what we prefer that.
Okay.
Sure. A little bit more streamlined. But I remember when I was in elementary school, we did something like that. We went to a local farm, and they sent us all homes with these little tomato plants, and it was my favorite thing every year, because I would like to say that they were my tomato plants, but in reality, I would help put them in the ground, and then my parents would take care of them. And I would just kind of walk out there and be like, oh, look at the tomatoes that I grew. I really didn't do anything. But, like, I just loved seeing the plants in the ground and how it all worked. Because, like, you really don't think about it too much, like, when you're just living your day-to-day life.
Right, and it's a core memory, because you're talking about it now, and that's a memory that you have with your parents.
Yeah.
And I just feel that it's so important for the next generation. I'm a huge advocate for that, for children understanding what goes on in the world. And I want them to know where their food comes from, and to support the community. And, you know, the money that you spend goes back into the community, because we're feeding the community, you know, and you know where your veggies come from. You have no idea where your stuff comes from.
And something else that, like, I've learned as I've gotten a little bit older here is that when you put back into your own community, like, you become tighter with them, and you become more ingrained in it, and it just makes it a little bit more of a cohesive experience, I guess, knowing that you go places and you know the people and you know where everything's coming from. So just a good thing there.
And Laura, you're also so passionate about women empowerment. I mean, we are at the tail end of Women's History Month, so talk to us about that.
I'm a huge advocate of women doing strong things, powerful things, and I myself have started a wedding photography studio, and it's been 10 years in the running, and it was a rocky road, but it's taught me a lot of things about women and cultivating your tribe. cultivating, your family, cultivating relationships. And I feel like because, my parents were immigrants and my husband's, background is immigrants, and they started from nothing. And we started from nothing coming to the United States. So it's just so important to remember that women do carry a lot of that burden, and we do it with a smile. But we cannot do that without cultivating a huge supportive tribe,
Yeah, I know there's a lot of women at White House Fruit Farm as well. You guys are working so hard and like to be outside and doing the most for our community. So thank you to both of you for coming in to the Vibe. And what do we got going on next month, Jimmy?
So next month we are going to be talking about some more fun that you can have both outdoors and indoors. We're going to be talking about maybe a new hobby that you want to pick up with some disc golf. Disc golf's exploded around the valley over the last couple of years. And then our indoor activity.
Yeah, we might be talking with the Youngstown Playhouse about their musical number, Oklahoma. So hopefully that comes to fruition.
Yes, stay tuned for confirmation on that second one, but we're working on it.
All right, well.
Yeah, and then we do just have plenty other of events coming up in the month of April in general. We have around the area, we have the Angels for Animals garage sale down at the Canfield Fairgrounds. We're going to have Federal Frenzy here in downtown Youngstown. So plenty of things to do here in and around the Mahoning Valley and the Shenango Valley. So get outside and enjoy the upcoming month and this new spring season.
And thank you for tuning in to The Vibe. And remember to always vibe and subscribe.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Yeah, for next time. But thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next month.